I told you shotguns were arguably the best type of weapon in the game, would you believe me? You're gonna need some convincing, aren't you? What's going on, guys? My name is Paul, and welcome to the channel. If you guys enjoy Division content, click the subscribe button, and if you find this video helpful, leave a thumbs up too. It helps out a lot. So today, I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to gun the shot. It's so good. I started experimenting with these a couple months back. I know the SMG meta was so ridiculous, most people haven't stepped out of that comfort zone, but I'm here to give you guys a crash course on how to be successful with shotguns, how to use them, what talents to look for, and what gear to wear. So let's start with the obvious one, wardrobe! So what do you want to wear when using shotguns? As you can see right here, I've got 4 pieces of Sentry's Call. Now, they still work with semi-automatic weapons. The automatic weapons, like SMGs and assault rifles, can no longer use these losers. So there's a major benefit there because that final talent works as a debuff. So if you see it right here, you get the headshot bonus, you get the damage for PvE, but you can see that these still stack. And with the spread of a shotgun, just one of those pellets needs to register on the head, and you get stacks. So it's very easy to do. You can hip fire stack people. You don't need precision. Believe it or not, I had a really shitty SASG one time, and I put a mag on it with just rate of fire, no other attachments, and I just kept spraying really fast, putting stacks on simply for the debuff, so the rest of my team and I can kill them. So when you put the stacks on, then you swap to your SMG and you start melting things down. And because it's a debuff, he's taking more damage from everybody involved. So if you've got 3 friends with you, and you do the math, he's now dying 200% times faster because you stacked him with a triple stack sentries. That's why it's a must-have. Now, as for the rest of the things you want to wear, as you can see, my chest piece right here has Vigorous on it. With this, you can look for a particular type of heal. I use Booster Shot, and it is substantial. So if you look at my DPS right now, we'll take the shotgun for example, see the numbers real quick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop a Booster Shot so you can see exactly what it does for my numbers. So now, I'm now from 122 up to 139, and went from what, 190 to 220. That's huge scaling numbers right there. And I still get the overheal, as you can see. That's what the Vigorous chest piece does. That's so big for shotgun usage. Now, as for the other piece, Savage Gloves. Those are obvious. They're going to be more useful now in 1.3 than ever. Definitely hold on to those. So that's how you build in terms of armor. Okay, so as for the talents. Now, there are 2 really standout talents for shotguns and about 3 or 4 really nice ones that go alongside. The 2 main ones you want to look for are Responsive and Brutal, and I'm going to explain why. Now, Responsive is almost always involved in the kills of a shotgun. Damage is increased by 13.5% when closer than 10 meters. Let me give you a moment here. See that really cute wall over there? That's about 10 meters away from me. It's safe to say that almost every shotgun fight is going to happen within this distance. Hell, most SMG fights happen within this distance. Alright, now back to the inventory here. Now, with the other option, we have Brutal. And the reason this is so important is because you get increased headshot damage. But with the headshot damage, what makes it so interesting is there's a unique talent that is more valuable for shotguns than, I would say, any of the other guns in the game. And this is because the One is None talent activates, and it could activate on any of the pellets, which means you're going to land far more headshots because of the spread of the shots, and each one of those pellets can activate this. So there have been times where I have had just 5 rounds in my 870. Yes, I don't use magazine size in my 870, and then I go around killing, 20 or 30 NPCs without ever having to reload, and that means never having to restock either. I can go hours of farming in PvE with a shotgun with the One is None talent alone and never have to restock and rarely reload ever. And that's how valuable it is, and it does carry over to PvP as well. So, that's why Brutal's so good. You have to go for headshots, you get a lot of burst damage, and you get the refund, which is so important. As for the other talents you'd like to look for, honestly, there are a couple underrated talents for it. Deadly So-So, Fierce is So-So. They're not as valuable as they are for SMGs, but they're great to have, but they're not as much of a contribution as you would think, or that you're used to. Now, one of my favorite talents, and this could easily puncture the top 3 in terms of talents right behind Brutal, and this is Unforgiving. Look at the numbers there. It may seem like nothing, but keep in mind you're using a shotgun, which means you gotta get closer than you normally would. And because of this, you're gonna take far more damage and absorb more punishment. Because of this, you're going to be losing bars of health far more frequently, especially in PvE, which means you're going to get to that 10%. You're going to get to that 23.5%, and because of this, you're dealing that much more damage. Stack that on top of Sentry's Call, you can see how much damage you're putting out. It's going to be ridiculous. It's huge. So Unforgiving's a phenomenal perk on shotguns. Not as great on other ones, but on shotguns, it's big. Now, another great talent, and the only downfall is you're really not going to find this too much, is Competent. It requires the electronics, So if you can get it as your free talent, like your bottom talent, Competent is incredible for shotguns. It's not going to be a common occurrence, but if you do happen to get it with some of the other good rolls, you got a really nice one right there. Oh, demonstration time! So I am using the SASG right here, and this is honestly the shotgun I would recommend you guys to learn and get used to. This shotgun is also one of the really good ones for console, and this is also one of the best benefits to it because shotguns are not that easy to use on console. I would never recommend somebody to use an 870 just because it's so hard to be as precise. And I know it sucks, but this is the truth. The controls are a little bit more sluggish, and not saying you can't use it and you can't find success with it. It's just much safer and more forgiving for you to use a Super 90 or an SASG or something like that on console. That aside, you have to understand that each shotgun has its own strengths and weaknesses. For example, 870's pump action. It's a lot of burst damage, very slow reload, very slow rate of fire, and because of that, you need to make sure that those first and follow-up shots count, or they're going to be able to reheal, and it's going to be hard to kill them from that point on out. The SASG is more about the long fight. It's mag reload, and if you did not know, it's the fastest reload out of shotguns and the fastest rate of fire, with the exception of the double barrel. So because of this, it tends to be the best shotgun you can take and use. Now, it doesn't have the kind of burst and damage some of the other ones have, but it has that harassment. It's got the reliability of putting ongoing damage on multiple targets. And just like I mentioned before, just having one and putting stacks on a target is great. Then you can swap over to your SMG and harass them, kill them with those stacks on top of them, and that's where you contribute to the team fights. As long as I'm putting stacks and it's visible for my friendlies in a team fight to shoot those guys with stacks, we know that we can take that guy down, tank or not, in very limited effort because their SMGs can work, my SMGs can work, and it's all a matter about putting those stacks on. And that is what's so awesome about shotguns, and that's why they're so underestimated. Now, the biggest issue that I see people making, and I used to make this very same mistake until I taught myself and I weaned myself out of this bad habit, is constantly aiming down sight. The issue is you want to just keep popping shots in. You want to be accurate. You need to focus more to get as many of those pellets to register on the head, and because of this, you get distracted and you often just hard scope. As weird as this sounds, you do not want to do that because you are vulnerable. So when using an SASG, yeah, maybe aim down sight, hold it for, 3 seconds or so, pop in 4 or 5 shots, and let it go. But with an 870, and people are not going to like me to use this term, you want to quick scope with it. You want to aim down sight, take 1 shot, and then wait. Aim down sight, take 1 shot, and wait. Each shotgun is used in a different way. Is because if you're waiting on that slow rate of fire to happen with the 870, you take 1 shot. There's a lot of burst. And if you're still holding down that aim down sight button, you're moving slow, you're vulnerable, and you're not dealing any damage. So you need to learn the strengths and weaknesses of each guns. You need to know to not overextend and not keep the aiming down at all times. Every shotgun is different in terms of attachments. You want to have weapon damage on every one of them. Because the damage is so high, that is extremely useful. Now, again, because each shotgun operates different, I also use different magazines and attachments. I don't really need a lot of stability or even rate of fire or mag capacity on an 870. It's about burst damage. So maybe I put a mag in there with weapon damage 13.5% and then crit hit chance or crit hit damage. That's going to benefit me far more than a rate of fire or magazine capacity would because it's about burst damage. But on an SASG, yeah, I may want rate of fire, or I may want weapon damage. I may want magazine capacity to put more stacks on multiple people, and you gotta find the strengths and weaknesses of each. You gotta remember, the SASG is probably the best shotgun you can put yourself at. Its only weakness is its damage. But that's about it, guys. The shotgun's incredible. I use it as a primary. I can test and kill SMG users all the time. I mean, even before stacks get put on, there's a lot of damage, and it is a remarkable way to play. It's a lot of fun, and with the 1.3 coming around, it would not shock me for a shotgun and marksman rifle combo meta for PvE or even PvP. So definitely start learning how to use these, maybe experiment with them, and teach yourself those tactics that I gave you. So thanks for everything, guys. If you found this video useful, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will catch you guys around with another video tomorrow.